This is the Element Productions.
Now you could just hit that mug to deny.
When I was coming up, was to put your money in real estate.
Right.
So I used to just buy a lot of property. I had about 30 houses, apartments, motels, junkyards, beauty salons, I had all kind of businesses.
Right.
Because my whole goal was to do something to bring the hood up.
Right.
I wasn't one of them dudes who believe. I don't think that you're big if you got a big car and you can outshine everybody in the hood. I ain't really with that.
Right.
Like knocking my people down. I'm more want to help everybody come up. So I was creating jobs to give people in the hood jobs.
Right.
So I was just buying businesses and just anything to make some money, and try to employ our people. So. But when the feds come in, they're gonna investigate everything, and they're like,
so did they take anything?
Yeah. They left for a couple houses. I had like 3 houses, and I had a theater that I was putting together. The old theater was really rare.
Yeah, I seen that.
They didn't take that.
They didn't take that.
It wasn't. It was worth a lot of money. I
Right.
paid like $1.3 million for it.
Right.
But they didn't really trip because it was so raggedy, and they didn't really see what it could be. So they didn't even bother. When the feds go, they only try to take stuff that got a lot of equity in it.
Right.
Stuff they can make money off of.
So they didn't take the theater.
They didn't take the theater.
So do you still have it now?
No, I lost it when I caught my second case.
Yeah. So they did that.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know for a fact, I know this house, but a lot of people wanted me to ask you this question. I seen this, and I read when you said the most you ever did when you went hard. What's the most you ever did a day?
I did $3 million.
A day? 103 million?
No, 3 million.
3 million in a day?
In one day. I read it too. But I was doing every day for like my last 2 years. I was doing from $1 million to $3 million every single day. That kind of money would go through my hand. Not profit, but
Nah, yeah, I understand.
But money would go through my hand.
So $1 billion wasn't nothing to see.
Well, I ain't never saw no billion at one time. No, never.
But if you counted like,
but I didn't have my own
that's what
money.
I'm saying.
$3 million laying on the floor was mine. All mine. I could do whatever I want to do with it. I didn't have to report to nobody, and I still had money on the streets too. So that's the kind of money I went through. But my main secrets, and I put it in the book, is what I found out that you got to do. You got to stack your money.
Right.
You can't be spending your money on things that don't bring back money.
Right.
And those are some of the things that I picked up, and I didn't know when I started, but I started to learn the game as I went along. And I put all that in the book, what it takes, and those are the same things that I'm using right now. To do the stuff that I'm doing. It'll be rough sometimes. Motherfuckers don't want to pay you.
Right.
TV shows and a lot of stuff I do in Hollywood.
Right.
Even the other day, they just offered me a job, and it was straight bullshit. They made it sound good, but they was talking about giving me like $8,000 a month, part time. And then when we start filling out the application, they got some bullshit up in that motherfucker. Oh, you're gonna be on commission. You gotta do this.
Oh yeah.
You gotta reach them goals. So the main thing though is if you take your money and let your money work for you, then they don't look at you like that. You know what I'm saying? But when you ain't got no money, motherfuckers be like, want to do anything to you.
Yeah. So, and another question a lot of people wanted me to ask was when they was looking at the situation suing the real Rick Ross. Suing Rick Ross by you being the real Rick Ross. They feeling like had not he still been hot, would you have done the same thing? Which is like they feel like keeping your name, which is Rick Ross, alive, if he wasn't as big as he was, would you still sue him for your name?
I sued. I didn't really just sue him. I really was suing Universal.
Okay.
But I put him in it because he's an asshole.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't cool.
I seen some of one of these DVDs. Did he ever give you 5,000?
He ain't never gave me nothing. When I was in the joint, I asked him to send me some pictures.
Right.
And he didn't send no pictures, and even a couple of the models that used to write me, he even said stuff to them that was foul.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you writing a dude in jail for?
For real?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the dude is just cut from a different cloth.
Right.
You know, he ain't from where we from. He had credit cards in high school.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean.
Go ahead, you can ask.
Hey, I seen Kill the Messenger, and I watched the interview you did over the phone. But I think it was a guy out of Los Angeles. He was keeping up with what was going on. I mean, I feel like it's safe to say that they use drugs to try to control the inner city or the ghettos and things like that. Do you feel like they using music now as their same tool?
Absolutely. I think it's the same principle. Once we found out, when I first started selling drugs, you know, it was a total different environment.
Right.
You know, my first guys that got caught with some dope got caught with, I think, was like 4 keys, and they didn't do 4 hours in jail. You know what I'm saying? But this is still when it was a white drug and whatnot. I was able to get them out of jail in like 4 hours, you know, with the bail and everything. Wasn't no special holds put on them or none of that stuff. But after they started finding out that blacks was involved with it more, then they changed the laws. And then once I went to court and found out that Ronald Reagan them had basically greenlit the opportunity for Nicaraguans to bring the drugs over here, and I was like, well, how they keeping all these brothers in jail?
Right.
You know, why y'all got 600,000 dudes in jail for selling the same drugs that y'all okay to be brought into the country?
Right.
So, you know, that's one of the things I'm doing right now. I'm trying to change the laws because I got at least 11 to 12 of my homies are still in jail with life sentences. And I don't think they should be in jail knowing now that the government kicked the whole thing off.
Right.
Yeah.
They should nullify.
And like, they the ones pushing it high as that, because they try to give you life too.
I had life.
They gave you life too, right?
Yeah, I had life.
So she kind of fought for that and brought awareness to it.
She did.
Right.
I mean, she's still fighting for it right now.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there's people out there that's fighting, trying to change it. Jesse Jackson, you
Right.
know,
Okay.
he had called me up to New York about 3 months ago for a thing that he did. He trying to get involved. I mean, a lot of people, because, and what we understand is that sometimes when it first started, a lot of blacks was with them locking us up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know what was going on either. So they voted to get the laws changed, but now they saying, okay, redo it. You know, we made a mistake. And I appreciate them just coming up saying that they made a mistake, because a lot of times, you know, our people make a mistake and then they'll just hide behind the mistake and won't try to change it. But definitely, a lot of the black politicians is trying to change the law.
So how do you feel about that the prisons are being designed? They basically putting them up off the population of thinking of how many blacks that they can incarcerate. And so what you think about that?
Well, I think it's crazy, you know. I mean,
Right, because I mean they buying the shoes like crazy.
He go and buy a prison, but then they don't put no businesses in the hood to stop. You know, I mean, dudes like that, they could just buy a hamburger stand or a restaurant, just hire people, even if they don't make no money.
Right.
You know, just to do it for the hood, just so the hood can eat. And what I notice about a lot of our celebrities is they don't care about if the hood eating or not. You know, as long as they cool. That's just another one of those mentalities that I was talking about that I didn't want to be.
Right.
Was, you know, one of the dudes saying, oh, I got my house, I got my cars, you know, you get yours.
Yeah, because you put everybody on from what I watched.
I tried to.
Anybody that met you, they was like, shit.
Yeah,
and we talked to Rick, we was rolling.
If they could just get to me,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because I was hiding.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hiding out every day because I got a full-fledged task force.
Right.
You know, I got 35 cops that's looking for me every day, so I'm hiding too. But if they could find me, you know, I'm gonna put you down. Just like when I wrote this book. I wrote this book to put the hood down. You know, to let everybody know how I took $125, exactly what I did. And then what I found out when I was in jail was that those same principles could work to get me out of jail. See, when I went to jail, I know that I worked my way in jail.
Right.
So I wasn't in there looking at a life sentence. It was some cats in there. I was like, damn, homie, you didn't do nothing. You ain't You ain't supposed to be in here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You was just riding with your homie and held your mud. You ain't supposed to be here.
Right.
But I wasn't like that, because I was out here slinging dope. I was really getting down, so I never looked at myself as if I wasn't supposed to be in jail. I knew I was supposed to be in jail.
Right.
At least I felt I was supposed to be in jail. And then when I found out that the government was involved, and I started to question if I should be in jail too.
Right, because you know it was kind of like,
they set it up.
Yeah, the whole
they
plot.
Set up the whole thing. So,
yeah.
But once I found it out, then I was like, when you work your way in jail, you can work your way out of jail.
Right.
And that's what I started doing, taking that same mentality.
And that's even with the reading, the writing.
I taught myself how to read because I couldn't read. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't spell nothing. I taught myself how to sound my words out all over again. And I did this all day, every day. That's all I did. Just study until I knew the law better than even my lawyers.
Right.
And I ain't scared to tell them. I tell any of them. When I went in the courtroom, I was the smartest in the courtroom. I knew more about my case than the judge, the lawyer, the prosecutor, all of them, the police. None of them knew more about my case than I did. And I could dictate to them what was supposed to be happening. And they was feeling some kind of way too, you know. They took that shit personal about me trying to tell them what to do, knowing that I was a high school dropout, I ain't never been able to read, and then I'm coming in there dictating the law, telling them what the law was supposed to be, but I'm telling you, you can't read this right in your book. You know what I'm saying? You got to go with your own book. So I just recognized, and then once I did that, I started to recognize that this shit can work in anything, entertainment, anything that we go into. We could take them same principles, and that's why I put this book together. I wrote this book when I still had my life sentence. I felt I was going to be getting out, but I didn't really know for sure.
Right.
So that book that I wrote, I mean, you know, so y'all can know exactly how I thought, what I was going through, and how I was able to take $125 and make it grow into what it is. When I got out of prison, I had $200. I started with $200 that I had made from in prison selling candy bars, sodas. And you know, if you ask anybody that did time with me, and they'll tell you, you know, how I did my time. You know, I started hustling right in the penitentiary to bring myself back up, to buy books. Before I left prison, I read over 300 books. They scatter because, you know, they don't know how it's gonna go down. You know, they don't know, you know, if you're gonna keep your mud or what. They don't wanna have nothing to do with you no more. I mean, which is only right though, you know. I mean, I was mad at them when it first happened. I was like, damn, these motherfuckers only taking my calls, you know. But, you know, the feds might jump from you to them, you know, not even that you really try to set them up, but just that they monitoring your calls and whatnot.
Right.
And they find out this your guy. Right. You know, so I understood that. But guys who got out of prison, you know, they looked out for me.
And it's special.
You were snitched on. Because like nowadays everybody gets snitched on. It's like police don't really just have to do their job.
Yeah, my supplier told on me.
No, real?
Yeah, he set me up. He called me, told me to hook him up with my little homie because I wasn't selling dope no more.
Yeah,
so he wanted me to hook him up with my little homie. And then the little homie heard the conversation. He wanted to hook up. So, you know, I connected them and I got the conspiracy.
So when I hear your story, we saw you come from this to that, and you pretty much kept the same composure. You kept the same mentality of, I'm gonna be humble, I'm gonna stress, you know, like everyone else. Like, what is some wisdom that you would like to share with anybody if you never
Those
said
come up
anything
techniques,
else?
shit. Them is come up techniques. You know, when I was on the block, I wore the same pants 3 days in a row because not that I couldn't afford to change clothes, but I didn't have time. That money was coming so fast that I didn't need a block. You know what I'm saying? Stay on the block 3 days in a row. And then what I found out is those are techniques that help you save your money. And when you save your money work harder than you do. You know, and I tell the youngsters when I go speak to them in school, you know, protect your money, save your money, because people respect your money when they don't respect you. You know, you ever go into some of them stores, you know, with the foreigners, and they looking at you, you know, what you want, what you do, and then you put out a wad of money, and then they go to buying their head. Okay. You know, so what I found out is that they respect our money when they don't respect us. So you definitely got to keep that money in your hand or in your pocket, in your bank account, so whenever you need it, you might not even give it to them, but at least you can show it to them that you got it, and they're going to treat you different.